challenges facing our community today, and what do you believe would be your role in helping to face those challenges?
All right, I guess my main platform would be essentially what's going on is they're developing at the Rodale land, which I understand development is progress. However, I think that mountain's beautiful. It's one of the reasons I moved to Emmaus. I would like to see somehow that we get state or federal grants or even community grants to try and buy up that land and keep it park. Two, I'd like to see some of these roads, especially the alleys. There's so many potholes. And speaking of which, snow removal, for example, maybe we could have the borough do the main roads like Chestnut Street, but maybe hire privateers to do the back roads. It might save a lot of money and time. Because there's a lot of people that live on those alleys. And, you know, I think they like their tie rod.
Okay. The bulk of your work gets done at the committee level. For the most part, our committees meet in the afternoons between 3 and 5 p.m. Some committees even meet in the mornings. With your schedule, are you going to be able to do this? Additionally, council members traditionally commit between 25 and 30 hours per month to this position. Between meetings, preparation events, and engaging with members of the public, do you feel that you have the time to dedicate to this?
Yes, I do. I understand that most meetings are on Mondays. The Thai House is actually closed on Mondays, so I'll be able to make the meetings. As far as, I can rearrange my schedule somewhat. I rearranged it tonight. But generally, yes, I will be able to contribute time.
Okay, and what skill do you bring to the council that you feel council needs most?
I love philosophy. Political philosophy or just general metaphysical philosophy. Ethics. I think that's what I can bring to the table. I might, yes, I am a Democrat. I'm a social democrat. I like FDR. He thinks deeply. He thought deeply, but I believe that things have been so crazy this last year with, Trump. It's not helping the Republicans at all, but it comes to the point where, I just love my country and I want to put my civic duty forward.
Thank you. Anybody else have any other questions?
Sure, just one.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned a lot of things that kind of cost money, and you realize that we have a budget. Have you ever looked at a borough's budget?
I have done construction budgeting. That's what an estimator
Have
is.
you ever, per se, looked at our budget?
I have not reviewed the budget yet, but I will. I just, the budget changes quite a bit next year. It's, so I will give very, very detailed consideration of the budget.
Anybody else? Councilman Shrivsted.
Just one question. The community involvement, are you involved in any community events or anything political in the Emmaus area? Any kind of groups, any kind of commissions, on any boards?
I do host the open mic at King Coffee. Okay. Basically, I had to rearrange my work schedule in order to do that. But I did, before I moved to Emmaus, I did a canvas for Tom Wolf. I actually canvassed for O'Connell for mayor in Allentown. He's a good guy. Basically, I have done canvassing. I have done some policy stuff with Ray O'Connell and Allentown City Hall. I know a little bit more about Allentown's issues because I got involved with Allentown when I lived there before I lived here. Okay. And so I understand how meetings sometimes work.
Anybody else?
You talked about bouncing around a lot,
Yes.
and I'm just wondering if you feel that you can make a commitment for 2 years
Yes.
in this area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Anybody else? Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you very
You're
much.
Welcome to stick around for 2 hours to see the process fold or unfold.
I think it's just best that I go, just because. Just let me know, how does this work? Do you guys vote, or do,
So we're going to do all 14. I guess I should have said
Yeah.
that before everyone went. We're going to interview all 14, then we will
Okay.
take nominations from the 5 council, the 5 council members here, and we will do votes, just like we kind of did for the reorganization.
okay?
The
Thank
borough,
you.
the borough code does require it by resolution, however, so there is a form resolution that we
Yeah.
have prepared. We'll simply put in the name of who someone is nominated, who gets enough votes
And what the term is.
to be it.
All right. And congratulations, Ms. Gilbert,
Thank you.
and congratulations, Mr.
Lavenberg.
Lavenberg, I'm sorry. And congratulations to everybody sitting down for the new year, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Jeffrey Baker.
Okay.
I'm going to write down the times.
2, 3, 4.
That doesn't work.
I'm using this, the New York Times. I could use Tokyo Time.
Oh, yeah, didn't even notice that.
I think,
I don't think that was ever broken. I'm pretty
yeah,
sure.
actually, one of the elementary schools broke it.
This is from a letter.
Must have always been down.
Hello.
Good evening.
I never gave that elevator much thought until tonight, so I'm glad to see her.
Hi, Mr. Baker. We're going to give you 4 questions, and then we're going to open it up to council members.
Okay.
And these are the same 4 questions for everybody.
Okay.
So first, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to be on council.
Okay, I guess I should have gotten a resume to you in advance. I'm sorry I didn't do that. I've been a resident of Emmaus for the past 9 years. Now that I'm retired, I have free time. And I thought, how best to use this free time? And then I saw the item in the paper about the open council spots. And I thought, since I love this community so much, here's an opportunity for me to serve and do something useful with my free time. A little bit about my background. I have a degree in government from Mansfield University. My first job out of college was in healthcare administration, and I've worked in healthcare for the past 35 years. As a registered nurse, as a paramedic, as an educator, as an administrator. I retired. I think I have a lot of qualities that would lend themselves well to council. As a rookie council person, I think my first duty would be to keep my mouth shut and listen and learn, because I have no experience really in running government. But like I said, I have free time, I have the dedication. I would want to throw myself into it as I do most projects. When I take on something, I'd really throw myself into it. I would want to spend a lot of time learning the workings of the borough. I would ask you folks to direct me in my learning so that I can become an effective council person as soon as possible. I think my greatest asset, and this comes from being in healthcare for many years, is my ability to work with people. You know, every day I'm working with people, especially people under great stress. I don't have real good computer skills, but I have really good people skills, and I think, you know, dealing with the borough, which is the people of the borough, I think they would lend themselves well. I believe that we have a really good quality of living here in the borough, and I think I would like to work to preserve that. I would like to see the borough progress, but yet not lose its character, which is what drew me here in the first place.
Okay.
I'm very happy with my residents. I love living in the community. I plan to spend the rest of my life here.
Great. What do you believe are the challenges facing our community today, and what do you believe would be your role in helping to help us face those challenges?
Like I said, preserving the quality of life and keeping the character of the borough as it is, I think, is a challenge, especially in time of change. There might be, a push to modernize everything. But I think keeping the borough as it is, still allowing for progress, but keeping the borough as it is, I think, is very important.
Okay.
What was the second part of your question? I'm sorry.
It was just, what do you believe are the challenges and how would you approach it, basically?
Okay, I think that would be the chief challenge.
Okay. The bulk of our work gets done at the committee level. For the most part, our committee meets in the afternoons between 3 and 5. Some committees even meet in the mornings. With your schedule, are you going to be able to do this? Additionally, council members traditionally commit between 25 and 30 hours per month to this position between meetings, preparation, events, and engaging with members of the public. Do you feel that you have the time to dedicate to this?
I am available. I'm retired. I don't have a lot of hobbies and things to occupy my time. Like I said, if I had a council seat, I could throw myself into it completely and give you any hours that you required of me.
Thank you. What skill do you bring to council that you feel council needs most?
Well, I'm not sure what skills council already has, but like I said, my people skills, I think, are my greatest asset. In my work, I've dealt with all kinds of situations, all kinds of people, especially people who are stressed. I'm able, through my experience, to take big problems and kind of break them down into manageable levels and deal with each piece individually and solve problems that way. I would want to do the same as a council member.
Okay. I'll open the questions up to council now. Councilman
Just one question. Yeah, I see in your letter here, you served on the Emmaus Park Police, the ambulance corps?
Yes.
Okay. Any other commissions or any kind of boards you served on in the past?
Not in the borough.
In the borough? Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I was a park police for several summers, and I was a paramedic with the ambulance corps for a few years.
Okay.
Did you say Mansfield University?
Yes, sir.
My wife has a degree from there.
Oh, good school.
Yes. In the middle of nowhere.
It is.
Anybody else? Questions for Mr. Baker? Hearing none, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, crap. Go on order.
I know this guy.
This one's gonna be tough.
I put the numbers down. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I can get it done in 2 hours.
Oh, she has to go up down. I forgot. Did he run away? He got smart.
He doesn't wise up.
He doesn't want to sit in.
He's gonna move.
Like, poor boy Brown, he's gonna sit.
Yeah, you're right.
Shane couldn't find it.
Oh,
Oh, they got you up at the podium. Oh, yeah.
right away, he wants to.
Right away, right away.
Good evening, Mr. Barrett.
Hello.
We have 4 questions that we're asking every candidate. So tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to be on council. Again.
Good question. So, I served 12 years on Emmaus Borough Council. Every second of that was a rewarding experience for a lot of reasons. The one is you really get to know who lives in your town, and that's a whole lot of different people with a whole lot of different opinions. The campaigning experience was probably the most interesting, especially the first time that I ran and just meeting all of those people. But then as that transcends and you start to make decisions and you start to understand why you're making those decisions and who you're making those decisions for, you realize that this job is quite important and it means a lot, and the decisions you make have a ripple effect down the line. And I think that's why it's enjoyable, is that if you take the time to do what you need to do, the homework that you need to do, so that when you make a decision, it's the right decision, or the decision that you thought was the best for the most amount of people. And at the end of the day, you've made a lot of progress. As a group, I think we've made significant progress in efficiencies. I mean, I think we cut something like, where we created about $2.5 million in efficiencies in the last however many years. We've made things that'll be around forever, some of the trail systems, the Orchid Lane Trail, the South Mountain Gateway Trail, eventually the Indian Creek Trail. If you remember, we worked with the school, Rodale, some other entities to make it so that the Emmaus High School track is available, so a lot of community things like that as far as outdoor recreation. There's a lot of other things, but I mean, my interest is, I'd like to continue to do what I've done for the last
Thank
so
you.
many years.
What do you believe are the challenges facing our community today, and what do you believe would be your role in helping us face those challenges?
So my role is very simple right now, is that I would like to be appointed simply for the fact that there will be, without a doubt, two people that have zero government experience. And I'd like to take the 12 years of learning the issues here in town and assist that for as long as I can. My expectation is probably that will be between 9 months and 12 months, depending on how long it takes for my new house, which will be about 300 feet outside of the borough, to be ready.
Okay. The bulk of the work gets done at the committee level. For the most part, our committees meet in the afternoon between 3 and 5. Some committees even meet in the mornings. With your schedule, are you going to be able to do this? Additionally, this is kind of a mute question because we know that you've done it for 12 years.
Well, you know, it's funny. So I kind of assumed, just knowing what I would want to be asking a candidate. And one of them was, so I actually tried to go back and look at how many meetings I've actually sat through, how many I actually missed. You and I have had that personal discussion, and really everyone on here, makes a very concerted effort, especially our mayor. I think that you're probably the lowest of ever missing a meeting. But I think that I've been to well over 600 committee, budget, ad hoc, COG meetings, negotiation meetings, special meetings, whatever it is. And I'm sure I'm under 10, but I'm probably between 5 and 6 meetings that I've ever missed. And then of the council meetings, I think that I'm at 3 council meetings in that entire time. So yes, I can make the commitment.
And you know the answer for me. How many meetings did I miss in 21 years? 20
I
years?
think you're at 3 also, or
No,
5.
5.
You're at 5. So yeah, if attendance is important to anything, I've made an effort to be there.
You kind of answered this already, but if you want to add to it, what skill do you bring to council that you feel needs most?
I think it's a kind of a two-way. One is that I like to think that I can lead the group in a positive direction. When we are stuck on a decision, I can move through that. But then I think I equally will listen to the opinions and ideas and suggestions. And I've had my mind changed many times based on the comments of other council members. So that's the skill that I think that the leading, but also a good listener.
All right, I'll open questioning up to the council now. Anybody have Councilman Dufresne?
One real quick. So, Wes, so you said, I don't know if it's best case, worst case. It would be most likely at least 9 months. I don't know what you call that, best
Yeah.
case, worst case. 9 months would be the minimum amount of time.
I'm almost certain of that. Actually, I think it's going to be longer than that just because it's already been, the reason I'm standing here, I didn't think that I thought I'd already be in my house. You obviously know the reason that as in the house burned down and the whole long story that goes with that. But we bought that in February, and they are just going to start doing the work in about a week, and we thought that we would have already been in. So if that means anything on just the timeline, how plans work, just the whole process. But I think that that's very realistic. And just on a side note, I'm extremely encouraged to see that we have 14 people. I mean, we've all had these discussions multiple times before, and
Almost all Democrats, Wes, you should be happy.
I know, but you know, I mean,
Keeps
the
bringing
party
this
is secondary. The commitment to the community is primary. That
Any-
answer your question? I think that's a
Yes,
very
that
realistic.
answers- that answers my
Any other
Time.
questions? Thank you, Mr. Barrett. You
Thank
are
you.
welcome to stick around.
I will.
So we did 3 candidates in 23 minutes.
I know.
No, that's not bad.
That's good.
We're along. Do we hear water burning? Is that what that is?
Hi.
Welcome.
I hear it. I
Thank
don't
you.
know what it is.
Hope you're staying warm.
Yes. Yes.
Alice, can you say your last name for me?
Fortunato.
Alice Fortunato, welcome to the Emmaus Borough Council.
Thank you.
We're going to ask you 4 questions that we asked everyone, and then we'll open it up to council members.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to be on council.
Okay, I've been a Realtor in the Lehigh Valley since 2003. The last few years, I'm trying to transition to a different type of position, so I went back to school. I'm getting my master's degree in public administration, and I also got a job for the state. I'm an income maintenance caseworker, so I do both right now. So I want to get involved in the local community, and it's in keeping with my degree.
All right. What do you believe are the challenges facing our community today, and what do you believe would be your role in helping us face those challenges?
I think Emmaus probably has a challenge of trying to maintain the small town feel that everybody loves, because there's probably been an influx of people from different areas. I've heard people say things about that maybe they're not happy about that. So I think our role would be to help integrate the new people, but also maintain the feel of a community, which is why people who come to Emmaus, like myself, have been here 4 years, why we came here, because we like the community.
How long did you say that was?
4 years.
4 years
Almost
here?
4 years.
All right. The bulk of the work gets done at the committee level. For the most part, our committees meet in the afternoons between 3 and 5. Some committees even meet in the morning. With your schedule, are you going to be able to do this? Additionally, council members traditionally commit between 25 and 30 hours per month to this position between meetings, preparation, events, and engaging with members of the public. Do you feel you have the time to dedicate to this?
I didn't realize you had morning meetings. I thought you mostly met in the evening, so I would have to say, no, I would not be able to do that.
But that's not every, that's only, how many committees do we have that meet in the morning?
2, Gen
Two.
Ed.
2, what, a year or a month?
No.
No, I think you need to explain that she would be assigned to 3 committees, and each of those committees meet at least once a month, plus your 2 council meetings that you have on your Monday nights.
Yes. So
So-
everybody's on 3 committees.
Okay, so once a month it would be possibly during the day for 2 hours? Like that I
Correct.
could- Okay, yep. That I could work in.
All right. And what skill do you bring to council that you feel council needs most?
I think research, that's what I'm doing right now, doing a lot of research, so I would be able to look into issues and not just make an off-the-fly decision, but actually like investigate and really explore what they are, so I could make a more informed decision.
Okay. Open it up to council members now, if anybody has a question.
So just to go back to the time commitment, like I've been on council for 3 years. I've never had a morning meeting because the 3 committees that I was on were afternoon meetings, but there are committees that meet in the morning. So, and again, like Brent said, it just depends on what committee you're put on with that. Would you be able to make morning meetings if you're on those committees or not?
If it's once a month for 2 hours, yeah, I could easily take time, but certainly not like every
Right.
week or
And
every
like
day, yeah.
afternoons at 3 or 4 o'clock
Yeah,
wouldn't be an issue?
No, that wouldn't be an issue.
Great.
Yes.
Just curious, what do you feel is more pressing here in the borough that council you would like to see work on?
from what I can see, things are going pretty well, so I'm not really sure. I think right now, I guess, we're dealing with Rodale, the sale of Rodale, and what's going to happen with that. So I think that would be the next big pressing issue.
Thank you.
All right. Shana?
You made a comment that you felt there was a need to maintain the small town feel and that there's an influx of people and trying to integrate the new people to the community. So I guess 2 questions. What specifically do you think the council can do to help maintain the small town feel? And then as somebody yourself who's new to the community, what do you think would help to integrate people who are new?
I think to maintain the small town feel, I think it would be important not to go in the direction of another Wawa or another big chain in the area. I think we have a few already, that's enough. I think to focus more on independent businesses, that's the direction I'd like to see it go. And engaging the community, I think this community is more engaged than most, but to engage the new people there, I'm sure there are things that could be done. You know, I'm not sure what they are. To inform people about the meetings and maybe have meetings that would just, you know, like to meet the local community. Because I think some of the people who are from Emmaus, who've been here for generations, maybe are not comfortable with people from other areas. So that's something that could just be talked about. And
All right. Anybody else with questions? Is it Mrs. Fortunato or Ms.?
Ms.
Ms. Fortunato, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
You're more than welcome to stick around and watch the process fold, or unfold, I keep saying fold.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
32. Is it Jonathan Harada?
Okay, what do we got? Who's this? John? Okay, so I need 1, 2, 3.
Welcome, Jonathan Harada.
Yes, sir.
To the Emmaus Borough Council. We're going to ask you 4 questions that we asked everybody, and then we're going to open it up to council.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to be on council.
I've been a resident for the borough for over 14 years. My wife and her family have lived in the borough for generations, and we actually live in the house that her grandparents built. Okay? It's a part of our family, and I just feel like I still have a lot to give and be a part of the community.
And how long have you been in the borough?
At least 14 years.
14. Thank you. All right. What do you believe are the challenges facing our community today, and what do you believe would be your role in helping us face those challenges?
In talking with friends, family, neighbors, be it at the bus stop or over at my kids' baseball games or even just church stuff over at St. Anne's, the 3 things that have come up would be basically the roads and infrastructure are getting a little worse. Garbage hauling's terrible, and that's not even talking about whatever's going on over at the fire company. That's, to me, just showing symptoms of a breakdown in some planning and having the belief that just because it's how it's always been done in the past doesn't mean it's how it should be done going forward. And I feel that I'm in a position where I can come in with some new ideas, openness, and help everything move more smoothly, more efficiently, and be better for everyone.
All right. The bulk of our work gets done at the committee level. For the most part, our committees meet in the afternoon between 3 and 5. Some committees even meet in the mornings. With your schedule, are you going to be able to do this? Additionally, council members traditionally commit between 25 and 30 hours a month to this position between meetings, preparation, events, and engaging with members of the public. Do you feel you have the time to dedicate to this?
I do. I'm currently not employed, but that being said, I've been employed as a safety and operations manager for a trucking company. I took them from being basically one step in the grave of being shut down by the government to being a good company again. In the process, once that was done, he decided, let's go back to some of our shady practices of hours of service violations, safety violations, and that wasn't something I wanted to be part of. My brother had passed away from ALS in the meantime, and I decided to take a step back, work on my family, and work on my nieces, nephew, and just be the stay-at-home dad of sorts.
All right, thank you. Sorry to hear about your brother.
Thank you.
What skill do you bring to council that you feel council needs most?
The one thing that comes to mind most immediately when you guys were talking earlier today in council about grants, when I was a senior in college, I actually helped write a grant for the city of Lancaster and Lancaster County that got a bakery a welfare to work grant for $1.5 million. That was way back a lot longer than I'd like to think of. It's like 2002-ish or something. But it's something that I've been a part of. And the thing that I think of the most as far as processes and jobs and things going forward is, everyone loves sports analogies. The thing I think of is baseball. Everyone thinks that they have to have this fabulous, grand, great idea where you hit a home run, and every coach, every dad, every fan of the game will tell you that the game is won off of a well-placed single or double at the right time in the game. Those simple, small ideas that help streamline things, that help improve things, be it with the insurance for the borough or through training and so forth, be it with making sure everything's put together properly going forward with the fire company so that they are part-time employees versus full-time employees who are eligible for benefits, let's say. Those small ideas add up and they make a huge difference going forward, especially with planning in the future.
Thank you.
Sure.
I'll now open it up to questions from the council.
Yes.
Sure. Council is a team. We all kind of come with collective ideas and work together. How do you foresee yourself working with others, and how have you done it in the past?
I think that I work very well as a team, in a team environment. I feel that in the baseball analogy is something that I like to have as far as living life per se, because it's not one person out there who's the hero of the game, but everyone working together to set someone up. That single sets someone up for that double, which sets someone else up for something else. And you need that not just in baseball, but in life, where small things make a difference going forward with everything.
Okay. One other quick question for you, and that's in regards to, you said about our roads and some of the things, and this is just starting my second term here, and many of us are here less than 4 years or just over that. I don't view us as doing things old ways or past ways. We've actually saved the borough millions of dollars in the past 4 years plus. We are doing roads and things in our latest budget. Have you looked at any of that budget or any of the information that the borough puts out?
I have looked at it, just a little bit touching upon it. The two things that come to mind right now, it's 2018, and you guys were just talking about payroll system and the old 40s or 70s time clocks and getting away from that. That's a streamlining thing that should have been done a long time ago. I'm sorry, but it's true. And beyond that,
And that's exactly why our council is working on that. but I appreciate your feedback.
Again, it's a little overdue though, okay?
I
That's-
don't dispute that, but.
Beyond that, though, I mean, over with 10th Street and the road closure there, that's something where the lifetime of that project, that tunnel system or whatever, was like 20 years ago, or 20 years. We got a lot more value out of it. It was like, what, 40 or 50 years? But did we plan for that 30 years ago, putting the money aside so that when it was finally ready,
Well,
it was a
30
bright
years
thing.
ago, I was 17, so I couldn't plan for it.
Again, I can appreciate that, and I'm not saying that it's the fault of anyone else here, but,
And
you know,
that's why,
again,
at
just-
council, we do work to correct things that we find. But
Yeah.
I appreciate your answer, thank you.
sure.
Anybody else? All right, Mr. Harada, thank you very much. You're more than welcome to stick around and watch things unfold.
Sure thing, thank you.
You got it. You never know.
Mr. John Hart, welcome to the Emmaus Borough Council.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for all you do.
You're welcome. We're going to do 4 questions that we asked all the candidates, and then we're going to open it up to questions from the council.
Sure.
First, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to be on council.
Well, presently, I'm Senior Vice President for Medical Operations at Lehigh Valley Health Network. A number of departments network-wide reporting to me, medical staff of 1,700 physicians and another 800 allied health professionals. I'm responsible for hiring, firing, and recruiting those individuals. I have medical records across the network at all of our hospitals. All of research reports to me, the Department of Education, and medical staff services reports to me. In my 33 years, I've had pretty much every department in the hospital with the exception of nursing and pastoral care. So I've had a lot of experience in healthcare. Why do I want to be involved in borough government? It was something that that struck me when I read the article in the paper, the opening. I've done a lot of board charitable work and feel very strongly about giving back to the community and the larger community. I've been chair of 4 boards, and I've never had an opportunity to get involved, quite frankly, in borough affairs, because most of the meetings occurred on a night that I had a meeting at the hospital and I was unable to get here. So it was also a conflict. I did not want to put my employer in a position of being seen as any kind of conflict with the borough. I am retiring. Friday is my last day after 33 years. So I felt it was fortuitous to have an opportunity to give back to my community, one that I've lived in and loved since 1978, and said that I will move when my brother comes to pick me up. He's a funeral director, so I'll be here the rest of my life.
Unless you outlive him.
Yeah.
Then you're going to have somebody
Well,
else visit.
Then his 2 sons will come to pick me up.
You
They're
got
both
that-
funeral
got that
directors.
covered. What do you believe are the challenges facing our community today, and what do you believe would be your role in helping us face those challenges?
Well, the most public known issue that has received a lot of ink is the fire department issue, which I believe is being addressed as a result of last council's action with the budget. There's miles to go before we sleep, before we put that to bed. I believe that the movement of facilities up to our new structure is going to take a lot of time and effort over a number of years. I believe infrastructure in the community needs addressing. I've lived here long enough and have seen enough of issues that should be addressed. And I've said this to a few people. I believe that the full impact of Rodale being purchased by the Hearst Company has not been anticipated or felt by us. I think we need to put together some contingency plans for the potential that may cause us.
Just on a side note, in our budget, we did lower our numbers because of that, so we are planning on that. The bulk of our work gets done at the committee level. For the most part, our committees meet in the afternoons between 3 and 5. Some committees even meet in the mornings. With your schedule, are you able to do this? Additionally, council members traditionally commit between 25 and 30 hours per month to this position between meetings, preparation, events, and engaging with members of the public. Do you feel you have time to dedicate to this? I already know the answer. You're retired.
I am retired, and certainly I do. But time has even if I were employed, the kind of work I do at the network presently requires 80-hour weeks, and there's 7 a.m. meetings 3 days a week and 5:30 meetings. I'm missing my last Med Exec meeting right now at the hospital. Because the Med Exec committee and several other committees meet in the evening. It's never been a problem for commitment to time. I would offer that being retired would give me the added benefit of being able to study borough ordinances and codes and get up to snuff quicker than most.
Thank you. What skill do you bring to council that you feel council needs most?
What was the last word, Brent?
What skill do you bring to council that you feel council needs most?
Well, clearly my strong points are, you would refer to it as human resource management. I mentioned earlier I handle all the hiring, firing, recruiting of physicians and allied health professionals. And I also have over 500 employees reporting to me presently that ultimately I have the hiring and firing responsibilities for. I believe that I'm excellent in the area of talent assessment. So if we would be recruiting individuals for various positions in the borough, I would bring strong suit in that area to the council. In the area of medical staff services, when my daughters, when they were younger and they asked what Dad did, I said, think of the human resource department on steroids. That's what we do in medical staff services, the kind of scrutiny that we have to put physicians through to be hired. It's not just what's on paper. It's a lot of background checks for criminal background checks and a lot of calls and background checks, other background checks on people. I also I'm very good. I chaired our capital budget committee for 4 or 5 years, going back a number of years. The difficulty there is when you have a hospital, you're comparing sexy PET scanners against a leaky roof. And when I was chair of the committee, we developed a way in which to bifurcate those decisions so that they're not being discussed at the same time, that there was an allocation for the infrastructure stuff and another allocation for technology, which is a big consumer in hospitals. I think that lends more objectivity to the discussion of where we'd be expending our dollars.
Thank you. At this time, I'll open up the floor to questions from council.
Question?
Go ahead.
So you're mentioning that the Rodell purchase was going to be a significant issue. What do you think is the primary issue that you foresee coming up as a result of that sale that you feel the council should prepare for?
Well, I think it's a spectrum, Councilwoman Baumgartner. I think it's anywhere from no change, because Hearst would keep everything as is in Emmaus. I think the likelihood of that happening, again, I don't pretend to know the inside tract of what's going on at the present time as far as Hearst's intention. But I think the likelihood of everything remaining the same is highly unlikely. And I think it would leave us with facilities and people coming off the tax and facilities coming off the tax rolls, and which would require us to recruit occupants of those facilities.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
You had mentioned earlier about your capital budget committee you were on,
Mhm.
and Chair. What do you foresee with our budget here? Have you had a chance to take a peek behind the books per se?
No, I haven't, sir. I'll be dead honest about that. I was finishing up my current job, and some people ask me why I didn't get involved in the last 3 years in municipal affairs. I was responsible for merging 5 medical staffs in the last 5 years, and it had me a little busy. And so your question was, what do I see?
Well, I was just curious what your thoughts were of our budget and where we stand.
I don't know, to be quite honest, but I think I would, certainly would study it in very short order, and would attempt to, again, bifurcate those decisions that I alluded to previously about, getting the sexy new fire equipment away from the roof on Borough Hall here being replaced. I don't think you can have a cogent conversation about them both at the same time. Sometimes you're forced to do that, but I think it's a much easier and more objective discussion if they're separated and you allocate money in separate
And we
pots.
do things similar to that at our budget.
I'm sorry?
During our budget season, we do have separate conversations, as you're describing there. We have Shane Becker, who's the genius behind it all, but he gives us that opportunity.
He's behind it.
to-
I've had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Pepe and spending some time. We are blessed to have Shane with our borough, without a doubt. I'm very impressed by him.
Shana, did you have another question?
I did. So just out of curiosity, since your background's in HR, if you were sitting...
No, it's not really in HR.
Okay.
I'm a medical technologist by training, a master's degree in biology and an MBA from University of Notre Dame.
Okay, but you...
I happen to, the doctor hiring and the nurse practitioner hiring and PA hiring is not done by the HR department at Health Network. It's done out of my offices. So.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hart. You're more than
Was she
welcome.
done?
It's okay. I was just
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
ask, what question would you ask
Over 10
yourself
minutes.
if you were sitting in this chair?
I would ask, what skill sets do you need now on council?
Okay.
We've had some new members join council. We've had some vacancies. So I think I would ask, what do you need right away? Thank you.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hart. You're more than welcome to stick around and watch things unfold. We have Theodore Yopes.
One's here. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello, Mr. Theodore Yopes. Welcome.
Good evening.
Ted, otherwise known as Ted.
Ted would be great, thank you.
Yeah. Well, you got to go by what's written.
Theodore's when I'm in trouble, so.
Yes, I understand. So we have 4 preset questions we're going to ask you, and then we'll open up questions to the council.
Great.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to be on council.
So a little bit about myself. I'm essentially a lifelong resident of Emmaus. I was born and raised here. Went away to college for a couple years, worked away from here for about 4 more years, and then my wife and I decided to move back here to raise our family, and we've lived here since 1988. So we have a keen appreciation for the history of the borough as well as the future of the borough. The reason I'm interested, I think I can add something unique to the council that I don't think maybe is as represented as it could be today, and that's kind of the technical background that I have. So I'm a civil engineer from Lehigh. I have an understanding of public works, zoning, land development, and also have the ability through those work history to negotiate contracts with contractors, consultants being architects, attorneys, things of that nature, so I have a general understanding of that. And just a general interest to continue my involvement in the borough. So if you had a copy of my letter of interest, you see that I have some history here of public service to the borough. Starting way back when I was in high school, working on public works like many of us did. And literally getting our hands and feet in the dirt and helping the paving crews, to not too long ago on the Building Board of Appeals and simultaneously on the Zoning Hearing Board. When I was advised I had to give one up because we weren't allowed to have 2 positions, I opted to remove myself from the Building Board of Appeals because it didn't really meet that frequently, and felt that I could provide service on the Zoning Board. And I think I've done a fairly credible job at that, and would like to take the next step to grow and assist the borough in the role that's available at council.
Thank you. What do you believe are the challenges facing our community today, and what do you believe would be your role in helping us face those challenges?
So I'm glad you asked that, because I actually have written here some notes on what I think the challenges are. I've listed 4, and I'm going to go through them in the order I think the challenges are. So we have a very aging infrastructure in this borough. We have sewer mains that are from late 1950s, early 1960s, that will need some work over a period of time. We have an aging water system. We also have roadways that, as you go maybe a block or 2 away from here and up in my neighborhood, that are crumbling. Figuring a way to long-term plan for those, take care of the immediate things, and do some life cycle planning. And with my civil engineering background, I think I can provide some insight into that concern. The other, again, tying into civil engineering, I know there's been ongoing dialogue with the sewer authority over in Allentown that receives our sewer, and how much do we contribute to them, and we've done I&I studies, and how do we repair our facilities to keep our flow rates down, and how do we justify our flow rates with metering and things like that. I have experience in that as well, where I think I can help us pose reasonable answers and argue our position to them. The third item would be redevelopment of unused or underutilized properties. So there are a couple buildings in this borough right now that are unused. There's an old brownfields up at 4th and Furnace that maybe could be redeveloped as something else. Rodale has a few properties around that, I know the borough had acquired one, but there's one at 6th and North that's been for sale for quite a long time. As the borough moves its facilities to its new headquarters, this building, police station, the fire department, all will become unused buildings. How do those get sold and redeveloped for the betterment of the borough? And unfortunately, I think the 10th Street building for Rodale, through the acquisition they're going to go through this month, may also fall into that category too. Those are large commercial-based assets that affect the tax ratables in this borough, and I think it's important to maintain the viability of those properties so that residential taxes don't go up more than they need to. And then lastly, the health and attractive downtown. I mean, I think, it's great the way it is, but it needs to be maintained that way to have a vibrant downtown to show off the community.
Thank you. The bulk of our work gets done at the committee level. For the most part, committees meet in the afternoon between 3 and 5. Some committees even meet in the morning. With your schedule, are you going to be able to do this? Additionally, council members traditionally commit between 25 and 30 hours per month to this position between meetings, preparation, events, and engaging with members of the public. Do you feel you have time to dedicate to this?
So I'll start with the second half of the question first. In terms of the time, there would be no problem from my perspective dedicating the time. I work whatever hours it takes to do whatever job I'm given. Whether it's, reading notes, meeting with somebody informally, things of that nature. With my occupation, I will tell you that there are certain demands on a repetitive basis for monthly meetings that I have to attend. And if they happen to conflict with a committee meeting, my day job would have to take precedence. My hope would be that there would be some flexibility into how those committee meetings might be scheduled, because my work schedule is somewhat flexible in that the monthly meetings I have are repetitive, basically on the same day of the week and same time of the day. And if we could set the committee meetings up through reorganization that allowed them to occur when I wasn't committed to the work meetings, that would be great, and I would be at 100% attendance.
Thank you. What skill do you bring to council that you feel council needs most? You kind of covered that.
So I think I covered that in my earlier answer, and that's just my perception. I know a few of you. I don't know all of you, and would love to get to know you better, but my perception would be from a technical background that I could add something to the council.
All right, thank you. Going to open up questions to council members now, if anybody has a question. Councilman Hinders.
So, I've been to the last few zoning board meetings, and you do a phenomenal job there. Do you feel we would be losing you as an asset on that position coming here? Because obviously you can't do both. What is your, if you had to go 1 and 2, what is your preference?
So, not to sound conceited, but would you be losing me as an asset to the zoning hearing board? Yes. But I also think there's more than capable people as the alternates on the board today that could easily step into the seat that I fill. Okay. One of the gentlemen you reappointed tonight, Don Nickerson, very intelligent man, very thoughtful, and the mayor's husband is also on the board as an alternate. I have similar respect for him, and I think either one of them could easily step in and do that position should I have to relinquish it.
Okay. Thank you.
So, Ted, you had talked about the commitment you'd be able to make it. I mean, I have an idea of what you do. I mean, I do know you, obviously. So you've talked to your employer and everything, and that's all, there's no conflicts and anything like that?
No, we actually, when I expressed my interest, I had a conversation with my director and ran it right up through our legal department in terms of conflict of interest, and it was cleared, and that's what allowed me to submit my letter of interest.
Thanks.
I wish I would have asked every candidate this. I would like to know why they're running now and didn't put their name on the ballot when there was nobody else running but 3 candidates, when there was 3 slots open on the Republican and Democrat side. But you don't need to answer that because I didn't ask anybody else. I just thought of it now. I was like, why didn't anyone run for council? But we got 14 candidates now. But I understand it's actually easier to do it this way.
I'll answer it on the side sometime.
All right.
But I think, we were having some conversations in the room and in the hallway, and I think a lot of the answers are similar.
Okay. Anybody else questions for Mr. Yopes? Thank you very much, Ted. You're more than welcome to stay to see things unfold. You're officially halfway point.
Great. All right, well, listen, I really appreciate giving me the opportunity, and I look forward to any consideration you give me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hi, Chelsea.
Hello.
Welcome to the Borough Council. We're going to ask you 4 questions that everyone was asked, and then we're going to open up questions to the council then. So tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to be on council.
My name is Chelsea. I lived in the borough for about 20 years. I was in the dental field for quite some time, and I recently have transitioned into the law field. The reason I have interest in the Borough Council is I want to be able to continue to help the community grow and give back to it. I've enjoyed it for the past 20 years, so I want to make sure that going further into the future that it goes in the direction of growth for everybody.
All right. What do you believe are the challenges facing our community today, and what do you believe would be your role in helping us face those challenges?
I would definitely say my priority and what Mr. Anders said tonight would be parks and recreation. I would definitely like to see some things be restored, and I would definitely like to help contribute and go forth and being able to give restoration and make sure that going forward, if there is any issues, that they would be able to be resolved in a timely manner. Especially the community pool, I know it is one of the largest ones in the area that we have. It's quite expensive to repair. It's quite expensive to even run it every year, but it's something that everybody in the community enjoys.
That is true. Thank you. The bulk of our work gets done at the committee level. For the most part, our committees meet in the afternoon between 3 and 5. Some committees even meet in the mornings. With your schedule, are you going to be able to do this? Additionally, council members traditionally commit between 25 and 30 hours per month to this position between meetings, preparation, events, and engaging with members of the public. Do you feel that you have the time to dedicate to this?
I would say most of the time, absolutely. There's always that 1% that something else could come up. Life has unexpected things, but for the most part, I absolutely would. I have another prior obligation. I currently am a volunteer and on the committee chair for PAC 25 at St. John's UCC. It's a little bit of a lower level. It's not as demanding as a council position would be, but I would be able to rearrange my schedule.
My sons were in that pack.